Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 383 at scavengerlife.com.
So let's be honest. This is going to be probably a very short podcast.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, we just got back from San Francisco. We were there for a week.
Doing our career jobs.
Yep. We have a moderate amount to pack.
So I have, it looks like 35 items.
Right, so we were gone for 7 days, and we sold 35 items, which actually is kind of slow.
It was
us.
slow. I thought it was slow. I would love to hear the actual numbers, but I mean, there were days where we sold one thing. Yeah.
Stay tuned. But, as everyone knows, we developed this thing where when we go out of town, we don't put our store on vacation. We just change our handling time. So we started it with, 10
It was 10 days, because that's, we're gone for 7 days, but,
yeah,
10 days.
And then throughout the week, you would go and change it.
And so then it goes 10, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And, sometimes when we're gone on vacation or gone away, we sell like crazy. So I don't think it necessarily has to do with the time change, but
the handling time change. I don't know.
I see it all as just a bonus,
It is kind of a bonus instead of just turning it off, not thinking about it, and then turning your store back on.
Yep. And so San Francisco was good. We were gone for 7 nights.
Yep.
We had basically 2 days to ourselves where we got to we've lived in San Francisco, so it feels like kind of home. We got to walk around and explore and visit some places we hadn't been to in a while.
It was really nice, and the weather was absolutely gorgeous.
Yep, and then 5 days of work.
And then, so it's kind of, it's not like we're there on vacation, but, you get in, you check in, with your people, and then you're like, okay, we're going to walk around for the rest of the day.
Now, if we didn't have other things we needed to do, in the past, what we often do is, we get paid to do these jobs, so we'll go, and then we'll just stay for a week or two
longer,
on our own, and just get an Airbnb or something, and we just chose not to do that this time.
Well, a lot of times when we don't choose to do that, it's because we have stuff going on at home, like renovations, and
your sister's coming.
My sister's coming tomorrow, and it's just you want to, you're like, I absolutely love San Francisco. It is a gorgeous city. I want to hang out there all the time. But I'm like,
I guess as my point is, with eBay, it does give us that ability to make those choices.
Right, exactly.
Where if we wanted to stay longer, we could.
We could,
We just chose not to. I know everyone's very interested. I did try a scooter.
That's right. We talked about the scooters.
And people were commenting on it, saying that some people say that they're in or not small, but they're in college towns.
Right.
And actually, there's a town
near us,
half an hour from us.
It is a big university.
It's a college town, and they have the scooters too. And I gotta say, it was really cool.
It was cool.
I
wasn't on it, but I heard the story after.
I just signed up for the app, and then you go up to it, and it's like a little.
It's a QR code.
You scan it, and then because if you've already put in your credit card info and all that, it just works. And
it's just you can just start it.
I scooted, I
scooted down the road.
I don't know, maybe a mile or so, and then I just I stopped in front of where I wanted to be, and then you just have to take a picture of it. I'm not sure exactly why, but I want you to take a picture of it being parked. Parked right there, and then it was done.
That is so weird. Well, okay, so that's funny. But the cool thing is, you check the status of that scooter 15 minutes later, and someone had grabbed it to use it.
Right.
Now, it was so funny.
I mean, I won't go on too far on this, but, I guess I love stuff like that. I know cities are like, what are you doing?
You're dumping these scooters on the road.
I don't know, but it is kind of cool. I definitely felt a little bit like everyone was looking at me because, we've all heard about it. And in San Francisco, this company only has 250 scooters out. So I think it'd be different if there are a lot of scooters out.
Everywhere.
But I definitely
people notice oh, there's one.
Yeah, and I definitely felt like, I guess, and I can see why a city would not enjoy this. There's definitely an urge to just be scooting around cars and
going on the sidewalk. You're not supposed to go on the sidewalk.
I want you to act as if you're a motor vehicle, but
like a bicycle,
right?
You're not supposed to ride bikes on the sidewalk.
if there's a stoplight, if there's no one coming, just keep on going. Right, so I definitely acted like a car.
Yeah.
But I could see how it would be crazy. Anyway.
Like you're not a pedestrian.
Right.
You can't just walk wherever.
It's not like you're riding a bike, for sure. You know, when we're in the hotel, we don't have cable television at our home. Right. So when, we're in a hotel, I'll flip on TV. It's, it's fun. It's just
see what's on.
I go back to the old days. Like when I was a kid, I was a TV addict.
Yeah.
And we were watching that show Hoarders.
Hoarders, yeah.
Which you've seen before.
It's on A&E of all stations.
And oh man, that show is always it's just like a car wreck. And I always think oh my God, I hope we do not contribute to people who have hoarding tendencies.
We do. But
well, we don't know that.
Well, look, most likely. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about eBay, right? If you sell a little collectible, you're like, oh, I hope this isn't going to someone
because there was this a woman, and she was really into Christmas, but like the dark part of Christmas, and her whole house was just covered with collections of stuff she was going to give away as gifts.
But she never did.
Yeah.
Really.
And I'm just oh, that's stuff that people sometimes we find and buy. Oh, no. But,
you just never know. That's the thing.
We can't control what people buy and sell. But I'm just ooh.
But, I was joking with you that I was oh, what if we saw something on this show that we sold to someone?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But...
and then when we flew back, you got on a Wi-Fi again and listed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I groan about how expensive it is. It's $20 for the whole plane ride.
But it was 5 hours.
But it was 5 hours. I listed so much stuff that had to get listed, and I'm this puts me ahead for the week. Yeah. I listed 80 things or something, both ways. So, 100 something. And that's great because literally I'm just sitting there. I'm I am stuck in this airplane. I could be watching a movie, but I don't really want to do that. I would love to get caught up on this,
I mean, I guess the reason why I bring it up is, again, this is just why I think selling online is so cool, because you can do stuff like that.
Well, it's so funny. The guy next to me needed help signing on to the Wi-Fi because it was being a little bit buggy, and I helped him get that little pop-up screen. And I saw him working on this spreadsheet and these graphs and stuff, and it was so funny. It was this corporate, contractor guy, and I'm listing on eBay because we were joking around where we were we gotta have Wi-Fi because we have to do work. We can't just sit here for 5 hours, right? We were kind of yeah, I know.
He's flying,
and then he's looking at my screen what is she doing?
Yeah. Hey,
it was really funny. He didn't say anything, but it's just. It's just funny to because he was my age, you know. It's okay, but that's why the internet is awesome. You can do that.
And then the only kind of eBay thing I saw happening was I'm sure everyone got the same message. If you're selling to Canada, they were saying that Canada Post has a labor problem.
A labor strike or something? A labor dispute?
Their postal workers are unionized, and I guess they're striking for something, so for their wages.
Are USPS workers unionized? Mm-hmm. They must be.
They are.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Although I think it's one of those things where they're trying to phase it out. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine.
In America... In the United States, it seems like union jobs are disappearing, so I would not be surprised, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, so anyone shipping to and from Canada might be affected. I don't know yet.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming that just means that eBay's aware of that, so if there's a problem with the shipment that they'll take care of it.
Take it into consideration, yeah. If your customers in Canada are where is my thing? Although... hopefully people in Canada realize it's happening.
So we have a friend that moved to Canada actually about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And he sold a little bit in the States.
Yeah.
And now that he's back up there and kind of settled in, he wants to get back to selling on eBay.
Right.
And he was just telling me it's a lot more complicated. I don't know if he's making it complicated or if it is more complicated.
Well, is it more complicated... because of shipping or because of...
To ship, yeah.
Oh, to ship. Okay. because he was saying, I was just skimmed this email that he sent to us, that he wants to sell on ebay.com and .ca, so I don't know if it's like separate listings or so I mean, obviously we've never had any experience selling on the Canadian
I know there's
side.
a group of guys or people who live in Canada that sell on eBay, so
that are on our forum.
Yep, and they're always talking about things, and so I think that they have a different workflow, because I think also some of them, they sell through a service where it gets, I guess, trucked over the states, a border, and then put into the American Postal Service so they can compete upfront.
So it's just cheaper, although you do have to obviously pay for the service, but even then, maybe because if it's in bulk.
Yeah.
And I've also heard of Canadian sellers who live really close to the border that they have like a P.O. box over there, and they kind of just do the shipments there, right? I mean, they print out their labels and... Yeah,
so it's interesting. It's like, we always talk about, I always feel like with eBay, it's been a matter of like hacking it, like to do what we wanted.
Right, you're kind of like, what's the workaround that makes this better?
Kind of like when we're gone for a week, the fact that we can keep our store active but still follow their
rules. Yeah, exactly.
Rules of shipping on time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, like we said earlier, it was a pretty slow week for us.
Yeah.
And it actually was.
Okay.
Like the numbers. But again, I always have to see it. If we're away for a week and we still sell stuff, then all of that is bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yep. So we sold 32 items for about $1,300.
Oh, God, that's low.
However, 3 of those items have not been paid for yet. So it might even be more like lower. $1,100.
One of them was $100 tool.
So... We took offers, and then people haven't paid, so it might even be more like $1,100, depending on if these people haven't paid. And then the thing that saved our bacon, we'll just talk about things we sold.
Yummy.
We sold 3 of these programmable thermostats for about $500.
So we do have to take into consideration that we bought those originally. Sure. That it's not like I found those at a thrift store. It's
you're right.
For those,
I guess I have to tell myself though, those were sunk costs.
Oh, it's a sunk cost.
So we, had a new HVAC system put into a rental we had. We didn't like them because they were too complicated, so we took them off and put in a simpler ones, and then we sold these.
So I'm selling.
So anyway, so I guess we did pay for them at one point. They were sunk costs, but anyway. We made $500 from that, so that was basically half of our sales. So if we didn't sell those, we would have been making like $500 or $600.
What?
It's like the slowest week we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just like, whoa! It's like the last week of October, like holiday season needs to kick in. Let's go! Seriously. Come on!
Yep.
Scavenging, we did not scavenge at all.
We didn't scavenge at all.
Now, we walked a lot. In San Francisco. One day we almost walked 10 miles, which is amazing. Yep.
God, no wonder I was so tired.
And normally we'll find things on the street, and we just did not. It was just trash.
I mean, there was just trash
on the street. So no
treasures.
Things. Yeah, and we didn't go to any thrift stores or auctions or anything. If we'd stayed there longer, I'd definitely love to, explore the place by doing that. But again, because we only had 2 days to ourselves, we didn't
have much time,
customer issues. Well, I talked about, 3 unpaid items, So how would you handle that? The unpaid items the cases are open, right?
Yep. So what I do is, you can open a case after 48 hours. What I do is I send them an invoice with a message, just like, thanks, we accepted your offer. And then if I don't see anything by the next day, I send like a payment reminder, either through the computer or there's actually like a pre-filled payment reminder through the app. So I do payment reminder. Hey, I'm ready to ship this. Although actually we kind of weren't ready to ship it, but it says something like that. And a couple of people did pay. They were like, oh, sorry, whatever. I was out of town. And then if I don't hear anything from them, I open an unpaid item case. And then we have like a personal appeal email where we're like, hey, if you need more time to pay for this, just let us know, like, you know, we're reasonable.
Right.
And
the fact that you haven't paid means that this item is being held
up for, like, you know, not hostage. If you say being held up for like 7 days.
Yep.
And so that person who bought that tool for $100,
yep.
I've heard nothing.
And then after that, then I
close it and I block them and I relist it.
And then they get a black mark against it or whatever, an unpaid item.
And then a lot of sellers. So the minimum is you can block people automatically if they have 2 unpaid items
in 6 months period.
In a 6-month period. So
yeah.
I've had people write me, "Oh, I had a problem with an unpaid item, and so it's not letting me pay. So
please
can
unblock me?
Unblock me for
so
that?"
Then you don't allow eBay to do the automatic.
No, because that takes 4 days.
Right, gotcha.
And I'm like, I'm doing this now.
So then if you don't do it automatic, you can open the case
after 2 days.
48
hours from the moment you accepted their offer.
And that's the other thing too. We don't have, I mean, although this week seems like an exception, we don't have multiple unpaid items all the time. Right. So doing it in a manual way is not a big deal. Like, I feel like the unpaid item assistant where it's automatic by eBay is if you have some store where you have like
huge store
100 a week or something, you know.
Yeah.
The fact that we have a 3 in 1 week is a big deal.
Is like
normally
unusual.
There's only maybe one at any one time.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think I let some of those go for a few days because I was like, we're not ready to ship, so I'm just gonna resend the invoice and hope they see it. Yeah. And then as the time got closer for us to come home, I was like, okay, I'm opening unpaid item cases for these, And
then we had a buyer while we were gone who gave us an offer. Yeah. We accepted, and they immediately write to us and say, "Oh, please cancel this. I didn't mean to send you an offer."
And it was a really good offer on a piece of clothing.
It was a mistake, and
I mean, like,
and that's all fine. Like, that's all above board. People are allowed to do that, but it's such a bummer,
It was such a bummer.
Such a bummer.
It was a $70 item. Yeah. We were like, "Oh, that's a great offer."
Especially
too good to be true.
An item where I'm like, "Oh,
I'm
so glad to sell this." Oh no!
What can you do?
Okay, things we learned in the forum. It was a little quiet this week, or maybe I just hadn't been paying as much attention because we were, doing.
I think it's quieter because you weren't talking so much.
Maybe.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, a lot of times you're like asking people questions and like, and we were really busy this week. Yeah. So,
but there was one interesting question. Someone, it was, I forgot who it was asking how to ship a comforter.
Oh yeah, I think that was this morning.
Sonia, yeah.
Yeah, so people had good points though, because it was a Ralph Lauren comforter, which I'm sure she got a lot of money for, because people pay a lot for Ralph Lauren.
And real quick, its question was, can I ship it in like a garbage bag,
right?
Or do I have to put it in a box,
which would be huge,
will be heavier, and then changes the cost of the shipping,
and is like, it's hard to find big boxes like that. So what I do generally is I have like a roll of really thick trash bags, like the thicker, like more commercial industrial ones. And I use those basically as poly mailers. And, some people were saying, oh, those might get ripped, which is true. But I try to like tape the entire thing also. And I double wrap it. So I wrap it in like a couple trash bags, like regular ones. And then I wrap it in the really thick, like, industrial. And I've never had a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and that's what people were talking about. I mean, some people are like, definitely box it for sure, because if you just send it in like a garbage bag, it's going to get ripped. But yeah, I mean, there is a difference between like a garbage bag, like you think of, and like...
where you can stick your finger through it.
Basically a poly mailer.
Right.
Like thick.
Like someone, I think it was Mike from Atlanta, was like, oh, I get like the 8 mil.
Right.
I mean, that's thicker than a poly mailer.
Right.
And I ship stuff in poly mailers all the time. Right. So I think it's fine. I wrap rugs and comforters, and like recently I had these like 2 huge throw pillows I had to send, and that's what I did.
Right. And like anytime we ship, like a carpet or a rug, it's the same thing.
It's that thick.
Yeah. And we've never had
I've never had an issue.
Complaint.
No, I've never had an issue. So that's a good question.
Okay, what will our coming week be like?
So,
and this, I mean, honestly, I do this just because it's like I'm talking to you, actually.
Like we're sorting out our
week. What
are
we going to do? So we just got back, so shipping
I'm
today.
shipping all day today and tomorrow morning. My sister comes tomorrow evening. She's driving from Massachusetts.
She's staying for 3 nights.
3 nights to visit and just hang out, see our new building. She's good at like interior space design. The design sisters.
Design sisters.
Plus mom.
That's what you got. Plus your mom. So I've got a stack all of our firewood. I'm going to be doing that today.
You have a mountain of firewood outside.
I don't think we talked about this. Right before we headed out, I went and rented a wood splitter and split.
Which is what we do. We don't split by hand. I think it's really funny. I was talking to someone who lives in Brooklyn, and she was like, yeah, I gotta, if I come visit more, I'm gonna, down in the country, I gotta, know how to split wood by hand. And I was like, oh, honey, nobody around here uses hand split.
Yeah.
If you're actually heating your house with wood, you're using a gas splitter.
I think he even took a picture of the pile. I don't know if you.
Oh, I took a picture. Yeah, I did. Because I sent it to my family. Look at this. So yeah.
But it's not like I've been behind. But I've talked about this. We heat our home with wood only.
Right.
And so throughout the spring and summertime, whenever we're out and about, I'll look on Craigslist and see someone cuts down a tree.
Yeah.
And they're like, take our wood for free. Which is awesome. So I don't even have to cut it up.
Right.
It comes in just round. So, and then I just make a pile of it in our yard.
Yeah.
And then once a year I'll get a splitter. And just spend a day and a half and I split it all.
Yeah.
And then I stack it. We have these wood sheds and that heats our house for the whole summertime. So it's really as a scavenger, it's super exciting.
Yeah, because it's free. I mean, and what you're trying to do is if you go into the city and someone on Craigslist has it, hopefully you're going into the city for 2 or 3 other reasons. Right. It's not you're I'm just going to drive there to get this. You're okay, I'm picking up
it's multitasking.
Such and such.
It's just I'm sure other people do this too. We have things we want.
Right.
And we either we actually have a chalkboard or a whiteboard. It's
a whiteboard,
that in our house that we actually write things down.
It's not even big enough at this point.
Or it's stuff I just always have in my head.
Yeah.
And anytime we go someplace, I'm like, could we get these things?
Right.
And then that's what we go for. Furniture, wood, anything like that. So.
Well, you rented a splitter for 2 days and you actually didn't get through all of it and I'm talking 2 days straight, you were you took a lunch break and then you went back out. It wasn't casual, And we still have several huge stumps.
Well, I think I split enough wood for not just this, although I can never tell. I feel like we have enough wood for next year too, but then once the cold really starts and we have to keep that fire going all day and all night long, I'm like, man, that's...
Well, we have so much wood right now that you are talking about doing another extension on our wood sheds. Because we have one, and we built a second extension on the side.
Anyone that burns with wood knows what I'm talking about.
You're
do you want to have enough wood for seasons?
Our friend down the street that's helping us renovate the building, he's got 3 years worth of wood. Yeah. He has this huge pole barn, and he has so much wood. Yeah. I think you're a little bit jealous, and you're I want a big old
It's so awesome.
It is awesome.
Okay, so let's take questions for people that called in.
Hi guys, this is Ella calling from Wisconsin. I listen all the time. I just kind of wanted to call. I had this moment where it was a while ago we talked about, you guys talked about on the show when eBay had this big issue where all of the photos were missing and it was only showing the main photo. And so I was going through a bunch of my old listings and trying to figure out what I was going to do about the photos. And I had this aha moment where I realized that I subscribed to Google Storage. For $1.99, I get 100 gigabytes of storage. They do have different tiers, but what happens is there's an app you can download on your phone called like Google Drive or Google Photo, and what it does is it automatically syncs to your phone in your iCloud. And I like to keep some of my photos separate because I do use my personal phone. But I was thinking that might be a good idea for your helpers, like if you add the Google Photo app to the iPhones that you guys are, giving them to take the photos. That way it automatically backs up. And they have different tiers as far as the storage goes. I don't know if you guys came up with something else. I kind of forgot about it a while ago, but I was so excited because I found my photos and it was so easy to locate them. You can search a particular date. So like I went through some of my old emails to find, when I listed the item, and then I was able to go into Google Photos and find that particular date where I took the photos, and it was so easy to find the pictures to add them back to my listings. Thank you so much for all that you do. You guys are always so very inspiring. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, so someone had mentioned this last week, too, about Google Photos app. The only issue that I see is we take photos directly in the eBay app. We don't do it...
Because that's just how the eBay app works that way.
Well, you can upload. If you take photos just on your phone, the photo folder, you can tell the eBay app to upload photos, but it's just another step.
Right. So what we do is just the easiest step, and that is open up the eBay app, take photos through the eBay app, and it uploads it to eBay. But I do understand people's concern is what happens if all the photos from eBay are gone.
Which happened.
So this would definitely be a way. Someone else on the forum was talking about, physical storage is so cheap right now. Mm-hmm. You can also just put it on your phone and then just every week or every month just back it up to a hard drive.
Big old hard drive.
You can get like a 2 terabyte hard drive.
You can get I have a 4 terabyte backup drive that I use for video jobs when we're on the road, and I think it was like $130.
I mean, 4 terabyte would hold huge. Your photos for the rest of your life. Yeah. So, either way, Google Photos is crazy cheap too.
Right. So it sounds like a good thing if that's how you want to do it.
But the thing the thing I was just talking about a week ago is simply it's good to have the photo. So if you lose 100 photos off of your items, you could go back and try and find them. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
I don't know how I would find them.
Could you imagine trying to go back and where was that item and trying to... That's why for us, if you're worried about things being destroyed on eBay, is having a backup of your listings with the photos connected.
So we have InkRug, and that backs up our... Although I need to make the time to see if I can download all the InkRug, listings and photos and ask them what happens if eBay lost my photo on a listing. Would it resync without the photos, or can I go grab it from InkRug?
Yeah, or does it keep a snapshot throughout the? I don't know. But and it's $10 a month too, and that just makes us feel good. And honestly, we mainly just did it so we could import our second store and then put that back into our first store. Right. But then we just kept it as just a backup. So
Hey, Jay and Ryan. I was just calling to ask how you guys fared through all the recent hurricane activity. You didn't say anything about it on the podcast, so I assume everything was okay, but I was just curious. Thanks.
Oh, that's cute.
Thanks for asking. We live too far north. The hurricane...
it missed us.
It missed us. We got a bit of rain, but it was not a big
it was... my next-door neighbor came out of her house panicked one day, and she was like, what are you going to do about this hurricane? Are you guys, leaving town or whatever? I was like... I wasn't planning on... I literally was like, I wasn't planning on doing anything. I don't know. I don't have any place I can go.
I think just the news really does.
Well, I'm also, I don't have television, so how bad? I was like, how bad is it going to be? She's like, it's going to be so bad. And then it completely missed our area, which is great.
I mean, obviously, if you live right on the coast, it's always going to be a killer, but, Not,
so we were okay, which was great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for the podcast this week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line, The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video, currently being brought to you by Stephen Schultz. You can subscribe to our Patreon account, which helps us pay for our servers. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube for free, so you always get the latest episode. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.